Om Sri Lakshmi Narsimhaya Maha, Valmiki Ramayana, Aranya Kanda, Chapter 11. The story of the sage Mandakarni and Pañcapsara lake. Summary. Rama comes across lake from which divine music is heard. Surprised at the musical notes from beneath the waters of the lake, he enquires with the sage who is following, and that sage narrates the episode of Sage Mandakarni. Then Rama proceeds on wandering at that lake, and he visits all the hermitages about there, and thus elapsed are 10 years. Again Rama returns to the hermitage of Sage Suteekshna, and after staying there for some time takes leave of that sage and proceeds to see Sage Agastya. And on the way he visits the brother of Sage Agastya also. Rama on the way narrates about the great deeds done by Sage Agastya in protecting humans from demons, and also depicts the propitious nature of Agastya's hermitage. Chapter 11 in detail. Rama travelled ahead, while the glorious Sita in middle and welding bow Lakshmana followed them on the rear. They proceeded while seeing diverse mountain terraces, forests, and diversely enchanting rivers too, along with Sita, beholding the rivers that have water birds like Sarasara, Chakravaka that move on their sandbacks, and also the lakes that contain lotuses and water-borne birds they moved on. The movement on watching spotted deer banded in herds, the wild boars, large horned buffaloes, maddened in virility, and the ruttish elephants rending trees like their enemies, on going far on their way, and when the sun is dangling in the western sky, together they saw a charming lake of 1 yojana width, fully overloaded with red and white lotuses, overspread with sporting elephants, and overflurried with waterfowls like Sarasara birds, Kadamba birds, swans, and with other kinds too. Out of tranquil and enchanting waters of that lake audible are the melodies of singing and musical instruments, but none is visible. Then Rama and also Lakshmana, the great charioteer, inquisitively started to ask the sage named Dharmabhitra about it. On hearing this greatly amazing music from lake, O great saint, intensive inquisitiveness is created in all of us. Why this? Please tell us clearly about it. Thus Rama asked. Thus said by that Raghava, then the virtuous sage quickly started to tell about the efficacy of that lake. O Rama, this is an all-time lake built by the ascetic power of the sage Mandakarni, known as Five Apsara Lake. He, that great saint Mandakarni, practiced rigorous asceticism for 10,000 years, staying in the waters of the lake and consuming air alone. Then all the gods are worried and met together with fire god at the helm of affairs, and they all conversed among themselves. This sage is praying for someone's place among us. Thus all of those heaven dwellers are perturbed at heart. Then all gods assigned 5 important apsaras, the celestial courtesans, whose shine is like the sprint of the lightning, to effectuate hindrance in that sage's asceticism. Then those 5 celestial beauties have led that sage astray, who discerned the nature of this and the other world, or good and bad, or the nature of absolute soul and body-bound soul, towards the passion restrained by, as though to achieve God's task. Also thus those 5 celestial apsaras attained wifehood of that sage, and for them he built a house in there, concealed inside that lake. While the 5 celestial apsaras are living in there, they are gratifying that sage according to his delight, as youthfulness came upon that sage owing to the powers of asceticism. These musical sounds we hear are emerging out as played on their instrument, mingled with the tinkling of their ornaments, and mixed with their delightful singing of melodies. So said sage Dharmabhitra to Rama. That highly renowned Raghava, together with his brother, acknowledged the sage Dharmabhitra's account, exclaiming it as amazing is this. While saying thus, Raghava has seen a cluster of hermitages nearby, encircled with sacred grass, jute clothes, and even encompassed with Vedic solemnness. And he entered that hermitage along with Sita and Lakshmana. Rama happily stayed in that august cluster of hermitages duly venerated by those great saints for some time. And then, that expert in great missiles, Rama went to the hermitages of those sages with whom he stayed earlier for another round. Rama stayed there for nearly 10 months at the same place, elsewhere for 1 year, at somewhere else for 4 months, and for 5 and 6 months at elsewhere, even at somewhere else for more than a month, and for more than 1.5 months elsewhere, while Raghava stayed comfortably taking delight in those hermitages of sages. Indeed, 10 years have smoothly elapsed. Thus, that virtue-knowing glorious Rama, on going around those hermitages along with Sita, indeed went to that hermitage of Sage Suteekshna again. On coming at that hermitage, the enemy destroyer is adored by sages, and he resided there for some time. Then, on one day, while staying in that hermitage, Rama submissively said this to the sage Suteeksha, who is sitting nearby. I have always heard through the narratives narrated by other sages that the godly and eminent sage Agastya is residing in this forest. But due to the vastness of this forest, I have not known that place. Where is the pious hermitage of that astute sage? I wish to approach that sage, seeking that godly sage's graciousness, along with my brother and Sita, to venerate him. Can I personally propitiate that supreme sage is my high ambition, and it is recurrent in my heart. So said Rama to Suteeksha. Sage Suteeksha, on hearing that particular request of that virtue-minded Rama, is gladdened and said this to him. O Raghava, even I wish to say this to you. Then you may approach Agastya along with Lakshmana and Sita. But providentially you alone raise this topic with me. Rama, I will tell you where that great sage Agastya is. On your going 4 yojanas from this hermitage, O dear Rama, there is the great and glorious hermitage of Agastya's brother on the southern side. That hermitage is there on a plateau in a spectacular place of that forest, which is adorned with many flowers and fruits, thickets of long pepper, and re-echoed with the callings of various birds. There are divers lakes that are receptacles for tranquil waters, that are teeming with swans and partridges, beautified with ruddy geese, and Rama, staying there for a night, you may proceed in the next morning. On going 1 yojana beyond, taking the southward course on the side of the forest clump, you will find Agastya's hermitage. Sita and Lakshmana will enjoy those woodlands adorned with diverse pleasant trees, as the woodlands abounding with diverse trees will naturally be delightful, isn't it? If your mind is made up to see that great sage Agastya, O great, ingenious Rama, resolve your thinking in going only today. So said sage Suteeksha to Rama. On listening that which is said by the sage, Rama revered that sage along with his brother, and he journeyed with Sita and his follower Lakshmana, aiming to reach Agastya. While viewing beautiful forests, cloud-like mountains, lakes, and rivers that are flowing, following the pathway, Rama happily journeyed on the pathway indicated by sage Suteekshna, and then he gladly spoke this sentence to Lakshmana. Definitely, this alone appears to be the hermitage of sage Agastya's brother, one with great soul and pious deeds. As how thousands of trees are bowing under the weight of flowers and fruits on the pathway, thereby I perceive it to be the hermitage of Agastya's brother. Upraised by the wind, the sour smell of pipali fruits is suddenly coming closer from the forest. Here and there visible are the well-heaped heaps of firewood, and all over appearing is a sacred grass snipped at its top and gem-like in its tinge. From inside the hermitage, in the midst of the forest, the vertex of smoke from ritual fire is clearly visible as high as the vertex of a black rainy cloud. On performing bathing in sacred streams, the Brahmanas are making flower offerings to gods called Pushpabali with the flowers that are personally collected by them. Thus, by the words of Sage Suteekshna, as I have heard, O gentle Lakshmana, this hermitage shall definitely be that of Sage Agastya's brother, whose brother is Sage Agastya with meritorious deeds, who, wishing well-being of the world, controlled death by his efficacy, and who made the southern region a livable region. This must be the hermitage of such a sage, such Agastya's brother. Once upon a time, verily cruel demons, brothers Vatapi and Ivala, were here together, and they, the dreadful demons, they say, used to be Brahman killers, disguising in Brahman's resemblance and speaking sophisticatedly that Ivala used to invite Brahmanas for the purpose of obsequial ceremonies, where Brahmans are fed after usual ceremony to appease their manes. Then Ivala used to make his brother Vatapi into a ram, perfect that ram's meat into delicious cooked food, and used to feed Brahmanas according to obsequial rites and deeds. When those Brahmanas are to feed with that ram's meat, that Ivala used to shout loudly, O Vatapi, you may come out. Then on listening his brother's words, Vatapi used to lunge out, bleating like a ram, tearing and rendering the bodies of those Brahmanas. This way, they, the guise-changing demons, always ruin thousands of Brahmanas together, greedy for raw flesh as they are. Then, by Sage Agastya, whom gods have prayed to end his demonic menace, and whom demons Ivala invited to feast during obsequial rites, he, that Agastya, having relished the fiendish demon in the form of ram, they say, had finished him off. Then Ivala, while giving lateral hand wash into the palms of Agastya, entered in the routine conversation of obsequies, asking, is this rite fulfilled? And he furthered it in calling his brother to come out. Then that wise and eminent sage Agastya spoke mockingly to Ivala, who is conversing that way, to his brother to come out. Where is the energy for that ram-shaped demon brothers of yours to come out, as I digested and sent him to the hellish residence of Terminator? Then, or hearing the words of Sage Agastya affirming brother's demise, that night-walking demon furiously commenced to assault the sage. When the demon rushed towards that best Brahmana to kill, he, that sage, glowing with his own refulgence, burnt him down just by his flame-like eyes and doomed him to death. This hermitage, embellishing with lake and woods, belonged to the brother of Sage Agastya, who has done this impossible deed just by his compassion towards Brahmanas. So said Rama to Lakshmana and Sita about Agastya. While Rama narrated that way to Lakshmana's son went into dusk, and the vesperal time came close of him. Worshipping sunset along with brother as per custom, Rama entered that hermitage and greeted that sage. Raghava spent one night there, when the sage received him well, and when they dined on tubers and fruits. Raghava spent that night there, and when sun rose in solar orbit, he took leave of the brother of Sage Agastya, saying the following: O godly sage, we stayed in the night comfortably. I now make an obeisance and bid farewell to you, as I wish to proceed to see your mentor and elder brother Agastya. When the brother of Agastya said, You may go, Rama, the legatee of Raghu, journeyed on the pathways as directed by Suteekshna, and on observing those woodlands, on observing the wild grass that grows on its own, giving wild grain, jackfruit trees, sala trees, ashoka trees, lemon trees, saplings of bilwa trees, and also Maduka and Bilwa trees, he journeyed. Rama has seen hundreds of flowered forest trees, that are battered by the trunks of elephants, that are adored with monkeys, reverberated by hundreds of lusty bird folks, and that are enriched by the flowered climbers hurled around them. Then the lotus-eyed Rama said this to his follower Lakshmana, who is valiant and glory-enriching one, and who is near at hand, as to how the trees are appearing with velvety leaves, as to how the animals and birds appear unvaried. Thus, gauging by this, it appears that the hermitage of the contemplative soul Agastya is situated not very far from here. He who by his own deeds is renowned in the world as Agastya, the stopper of mountain, it appears to be his hermitage that elevates the weary of varied ones. The forest nearby this hermitage is overrun by huge smoke from altars of fire, overstuffed with the garlands of jute cloth, overcrowded with the herds of peaceful deer, and also overloaded with sonority of the birds. He who, impeding death by his yogic might and wishing well-being for worlds, made the southern extent a livable province by his pious deeds. His hermitage is this, under whose influence the demons behold the southern quarter accordingly, and they do not even venture to live here. Such a sage Agastya's hermitage is this. And from when the pious deeded Agastya took possession of this quarter, from then on, the night walkers have calmed down and remained without feud. This very worthy southern quarter is known in the name of that godly sage Agastya, and this remained unattackable to the demons with cruel deeds, complying which sage's directive Mount Vindhya ceased to heighten in order not to obstruct the path of the sun. Such sage's hermitage is this, who is renowned in the world by his deeds, and whose longevity is inestimable. Hence this glorious hermitage is adored by well-behaved animals and humans as well. He, the gentle sage, who is always interested in the respect of sagacious one, is thus an esteemed one in the world, and for us, when we approach him, he accords beneficence. O adept Lakshmana, I wish to worship that great saint Agastya there in that hermitage, and O gentle one, I think of living the remainder of forest living here only. There, gods with Gandharvas, Siddhas, exalted sages will be worshipping Agastya, who is self-regulating, self-disciplinary. There, no liar can live, nor a savage, nor even a deceiver, nor a man-torturer, nor one with sinful behavior, for that sage is of that nature. There, the gods, celestials, reptiles, birds live together, wishing to worship the Absolute with self-discipline. There, the blessed and great souls of accomplished ascetics rode to heaven by aircraft similar to the sun in resplendence, on relinquishing their moral bodies here and on obtaining new bodies. There, gods will endow the state of celestials or immortals or many realms of divine living to those auspicious beings that worship them. We arrived at the threshold of the hermitage, O Saumitri. You enter firstly and submit to sage Agastya about my arrival at this place along with Sita. Thus, this is the 11th chapter in Aranya Kanda Valmiki Ramayana, the first epic poem of India. Sri Moola Rama Vijayate. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.